There's a strange kind of prison that doesn't have bars, guards, or locks. Most people walk into it willingly. They spend their entire lives adjusting themselves, shrinking themselves, censoring themselves just to be liked, just to avoid judgment, just to hear someone say, "You're good enough." And the scary part, society rewards this behavior. The people pleaser gets called nice. The obedient person gets called respectful. The one who never disagrees gets called easy to work with. But deep down, something starts dying inside them. Because every time you betray your real thoughts for approval, you teach yourself one dangerous lesson. My truth is less important than their comfort. And according to Friedrich Nietzsche, that is the beginning of weakness. Not weakness in muscles, weakness in spirit. See, Nietzsche believed most people don't actually live for themselves. They live according to what he called the herd, the crowd, the masses, the invisible pressure of what everyone else expects you to be. And once you notice it, you can't unsee it. Look around. People stay in relationships they hate because they're afraid of being judged for leaving. People choose careers they never wanted because their parents approved of them. People pretend to enjoy things they secretly dislike just to fit into a group. Even online, most people don't post what they truly think. They post what will get likes, validation, and acceptance. It's all performance. And the worst part is that after years of doing this, many people don't even know who they really are anymore. They become a character designed for approval. You can see this happen in small moments every day. Someone wants to say no, but says yes because they don't want to disappoint anyone. Someone gets insulted and laughs it off, even though it hurt them deeply. Someone changes the way they talk, dress, or behave depending on who's around. Little by little, they abandon themselves. Nietzsche saw this as one of the greatest tragedies of human life. People becoming strangers to their own soul because they fear rejection more than emptiness. And honestly, rejection terrifies most people. Why? Because approval feels like survival. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by the tribe could literally mean death. Humans evolved to crave belonging. That instinct still lives inside us today. But modern life has turned that instinct into a weapon. Now, people measure their worth through attention, followers, compliments, and acceptance. And if they don't receive it, they start doubting themselves. But think about this carefully. If your confidence disappears the moment someone disapproves of you, was it ever really confidence? Or was it dependence disguised as confidence? That's the trap. A person addicted to approval is emotionally controlled by everyone around them. One compliment makes them feel valuable. One criticism destroys their mood. One rejection makes them question their identity. That's not freedom. That's slavery with a smile. Nietzsche believed a strong person must eventually learn to stand alone psychologically, not because they hate people, but because they refuse to let the crowd define their worth. And that takes courage, because the moment you stop seeking approval, something uncomfortable happens. People get irritated. Seriously. The version of you that constantly seeks approval is convenient for others. You're easier to control, easier to predict, easier to manipulate. But when you begin thinking independently, setting boundaries, speaking honestly, suddenly some people won't like you anymore. And that's where most people panic. They immediately try to win everyone back. They apologize for things they shouldn't apologize for. They soften their opinions. They abandon their boundaries. Because they confuse being disliked with being wrong. But those are not the same thing. Some people will dislike you simply because you stopped acting weak. And Nietzsche would say that's a sign of growth, not failure. Think about someone who constantly changes themselves to fit in. Around one group, they act loud. Around another group, they act quiet. Around certain people, they hide their opinions completely. That person may be accepted everywhere, but they feel real nowhere. Now, compare that to someone who is authentic. Not arrogant, not rude, just honest. They say what they mean. They don't beg for validation. They don't collapse when criticized. They can be alone without feeling worthless. That person might not be loved by everyone, but they possess something far more valuable: inner solidity. And you can feel it when you're around them. There's a calmness to people who no longer need approval. They don't chase attention because they're not starving for identity anymore. Most people think confidence comes from getting more praise. Nietzsche would probably laugh at that idea. Real confidence begins when praise becomes unnecessary. When you can look in the mirror and respect yourself even if nobody claps for you. That's power. And no, this doesn't mean becoming cold or isolated. A lot of people misunderstand this. You can still love people. You can still be kind. You can still care about relationships. But there's a massive difference between connection and dependence. A strong person enjoys approval, but does not need it to function. That changes everything. Because once you stop needing validation, you stop being controlled by fear. You stop fearing disagreement. You stop fearing criticism. You stop fearing disappointing people. And suddenly, your personality becomes more real, more alive. You start making choices based on truth instead of applause. And ironically, that's often when people respect you more, because authenticity has weight. Most people can sense when someone is fake. They can sense when someone is desperately trying to be liked. There's tension in it, neediness in it. But people who are comfortable standing on their own beliefs carry a different energy entirely. Nietzsche believed life should be an act of self-creation, not imitation, not obedience, creation. To create yourself means deciding who you are instead of letting society decide for you. It means asking difficult questions. What do I actually believe? What do I truly want? What parts of my personality are real, and what parts were built just to gain approval? Those questions can change your life, because many people discover they've been living according to scripts handed to them by parents, friends, culture, or fear. And breaking free from that can feel lonely at first, but loneliness is often the price of authenticity. And honestly, a lonely truth is better than a popular lie. At the end of your life, people's approval won't save you from regret. You'll remember the moments you betrayed yourself, the times you stayed silent when you should have spoken, the dreams you abandoned because others didn't approve. That's the real danger. Not being disliked, but losing yourself completely. So maybe it's time to stop asking, "Will they accept me?" and start asking, "Do I accept myself?" Because the strongest people in history were rarely understood at first. They were criticized, mocked, rejected, but they stayed true to themselves anyway. That is strength. Not pleasing everyone, not blending in, not begging for validation, but standing firm in who you are, even when the crowd disapproves. So the next time you feel the urge to shrink yourself for acceptance, remember this: every act of unnecessary approval seeking is a small surrender of your identity, and every moment of authenticity is an act of freedom. If this video spoke to you, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. What's one moment where you stopped seeking approval and started choosing yourself instead?